I have a couple. Okay.
Decision Day has become divisive, but in Dr. Sarah Purcell's history class at Grinnell College, students learn it is hardly unprecedented.
It is not accurate that America has never been this divided. There are times when we've been divided. Now, that's not to say this is a good thing.
The 8-week fall course takes students through the 5 times in U.S. history that controversy, ballot integrity, rhetoric, and voter suppression led to presidential election results being contested.
So, for instance, if you look at the 1876 election, which was contested, that was contested in part because southern states were having terrible controversy, and white supremacists were suppressing the right of black voters.
Students learned it goes back as early as the 4th presidential election over 200 years ago. Incumbent John Adams against eventual winner Thomas Jefferson.
I mean, our first contested election was the election of 1800, in which we have the first real political parties. And even at that point, they're seeing their opponents as illegitimate. And that's kind of a trend that we've seen throughout American history and American politics.
1824 went down as the corrupt bargain. John Quincy Adams lost both the popular vote and electoral college to Andrew Jackson, but thanks to his close bond to Speaker of the House Henry Clay, became president.
The House of Representatives chose John Quincy Adams to be the president.
2000, the U.S. Supreme Court was forced to decide the winner of Al Gore and George W. Bush after Florida's numbers were too close to call.
Ways in which voter turnout really matter is something I'm a lot more prepared to answer. Like when we saw with Bush v. Gore, how it came down to really quite a small number of votes. And so I think that helps a lot when people are disillusioned or believe that their vote doesn't matter.
An American Psychological Association survey from October says 69% of Americans believe the election is a significant source of their stress. The class has many takeaways, but students say easing anxiety is not one.
I'm going to be less surprised now with what happens if contestation does arise.
I don't think it eased any anxiety, unfortunately, about the event, but it did provide me with a lot more context and information in how the system works.
Dr. Purcell says while each contested election had a different spark that lit the flame, the integrity of the end result was the same.
The actual candidates in the elections had always accepted the results, and that was really key in the system functioning.
Learning the past can sometimes help better understand current events like the aftermath of the 2020 U.S. election that nearly led to results being contested despite record voter turnout.
I learned a lot about how the public reacts to contested elections and how that really can change the course of the election itself, and also how the candidate themselves reacts, and how important that is to resolving kind of the contestation in the American public's eyes.
Eyes now on Election Day, but despite similar ingredients seeming to be mixing together, will it all be a little bit of history repeating?
Historians can't predict the future, so I couldn't tell the students exactly what's going to happen next.
And Dr. Purcell says she is not sure how often she will teach the class, but she says that decision may also be impacted by the aftermath of this year's presidential race.